Well, good morning, everybody. All one of I'm excited too. We'll see what happens, and let me know. Can you hear us? Okay, is this working good? The the topic for today, as I said on the title, is the aha moment, and how to know if you have an aha moment. Um, they come in various forms, but before we really get into that, what I would like to know, well, not like to know, but what I would like to express is my gratitude for you being here. And the the hesitation here, I have to tell you that not being able to have that edit chance to go back and delete the pauses, that's different for me. So anyway, we'll see how it works. Um, so the aha moments, they they can come in a myriad of ways. Um, even even to the point of where you're reading a book, and Karen, you're aware of this since I'm doing some reading for you or to you. uh we get these aha moments that just give us a tingle in our bodies, or um a feeling in our soul, in our heart, where it's just a great feeling to have. It's like a warm fuzzy, if you will. Now, for me, I've had, as I said in a couple of my videos that I've done, I have had a number of aha moments. And I think the key to being able to have those aha moments is to be open to having them, to allow that to happen. And the way we do that is to, hopefully, anyway, try to remain conscious and focused on who and what we are, and allowing that possibility to take place. Um, so anyway, since Karen, you're the only one on right now, do you have a question? Do you have any comments? Anything to say? Because this is supposed to be a conversation, so let's have one. I think that's one of the things that this is really conducive to, is being able to share and have that connection. Now, hanging on. Okay, we can hang on. Um, I in my life, my aha moments have come at various times through the day, from 11:30 at night while I was driving truck, having my deceased grandfather show up in the passenger seat, which was a strange experience, but it was also uh, very comforting too. As I said in the video, he didn't say anything. He just turned and looked at me, and that feeling that I got from that, just letting me know that, yeah, you're on the right path. You're doing good. Keep going. Don't don't let things dissuade you. And fortunately, that is been a constant in my life. When I've started to feel uh, like perhaps I should let it go, something has always come around and egged me forward, moved me on. And I really believe that that is spirit. That's me. That's my higher self doing that. So I feel that that has come from an underlying willingness to allow that to happen. I really feel, and I don't want to get melodramatic or anything like that, but I really feel that once we start down this path of a spiritual awakening, that it's going to occur. It's like you can't turn off the faucet. You might slow the flow a little bit. You might have what we in this human realm would call relapses, where you think it's over or you think you're not making progress or going anywhere. But the reality is that you're on a constant journey. You're always going to have movement forward, even though it doesn't appear that way. So instead of judging it, just be allowing, be gentle with yourself, and try to stay away from expectations because those really will shut or try to shut you down anyway. And I think the expectations come from your ego because remember, the ego is this identity that we see that you're looking at right now. This is my ego giving me the identity of Sananda, the ability to be the ability to be conscious of who you really are and yet keep your human form. Am I talking about deja vu moments? I think that the way that deja vu is thought of here in our society, that that's kind of a idea of having a flashback or you've been here before. And I don't think that that's accurate. I mean, it could be. I mean, anything's possible. But what I'm talking about aha moments, um, is when you hear a song and something in that song triggers something within you, and you get that feeling of, "Oh, okay, I get it." It's like a moment of clarity, uh, and it could be a clarity of an idea that you've been thinking about or worrying about, something that you're doing in your life, and when you allow that clarity to come through, then it provides some comfort to you. I, right now, I find it extremely interesting, the process that's going on in my mind, because in my video about slowing down, I talked about monkey mind, and right now, my monkey mind is just going ape. It's, yeah, it's all over the place. So let me try to center again, and let's get back on track. The the ability to be focused enough to have these aha moments, I feel, are what can egg us forward and give us that comfort of we're doing it right, or everything's going to be okay. And those are the things that keep us moving. Even though we're moving constantly, in this realm, sometimes we experience blockages or what we might consider stalemates, where we feel like nothing's going right. And yet those are just opinions. I mean, those are constricted views of our moment, that moment in time that we're in, and we can we can always move past that if we allow ourselves, and if we get these aha moments to come through and bring some peace to us. Did that answer your question? I hope so. Um, at any rate, how can how do these aha moments present themselves? In a myriad of ways. I've had them, as I said, my grandfather showing up in my passenger seat. I've been listening to music, and a song moves just moves me to tears sometimes, uh, or a passage in a book, and I'm going to share an experience here that is personal for me, very powerful. Um, I was in the process of writing a book, one of my books, which I do have 8 of them on Amazon right now. But anyway, I was writing my book, and as I was writing my book, the the words that was coming through me and that I was typing brought this aha moment to me, a clarity of myself. It was an experience for me to have in that moment. So I was writing this experience into the book, really having it. That was weird. I just saw the camera do that flux thing. Anyway, but anyway, the that aha moment, that feeling of understanding what was going on was really emotional for me. And Karen knows me personally, so she knows that I am an emotional person. Sometimes cry at the drop of a hat or the drop of a phrase. At any rate, it it was a moment of clarity that helped me to know who this person, this energy that's within this person really is. I don't want to get off the topic of aha moments. So that's as far as I'm going to go with that. But suffice it to say that we all can have these kind of events occur within us. If we take the time being that relative thing that we deal with here on this plane, to allow the communication, the clarity, the understanding to connect with us. So I hope that this has helped you to understand what some aha moments are, maybe how to have them or at least understand and receive them and to process them. And don't judge. Don't think that because you're having this inner voice talking to you, don't feel that those are that don't judge it to be something bad. Don't you don't have to fall into the societal judgment of right and wrong or good and bad. Those are perceptions, stories that have no relevance. Okay, what do we got here? Not even but we want to be in control. It's human nature. You're right. We do feel that we want to be in control. And that's the interesting thing is that when we when we lose focus, we think we're out of control. But the realization is, in reality, the ultimate reality, we are in total control because we are doing this. We are creating. every moment of every day that we have. And that's the key, I think, to recognizing it, is to understand that tidbit, to accept the responsibility in that moment that we are creating this. Because when we if we can't accept the responsibility for what we're creating, then how can we accept who and what we really are? And you say we have to learn how to see it. I think I know I'm being probably a little nitpicky here. The word learn in our society means that we don't know something. We have to learn it from someone or someone else. But the realization is that we have to shift our thought within ourselves to accept the fact that we already know it. We just have to allow it. We have to stay away from this judgment. Everybody runs to judgment. And I mean, it's normal. We are brought up with this. The desire to be judgmental and judge someone for who and what they are or who and what they associate with or how they dress or how they look. Um, these videos that are made, the people of Walmart, I'm sure that most people have everybody's seen that. You know, we laugh at those because they appear to be funny to us. And I'm just as guilty as everyone. I've laughed at those things too. But the fact is that it is a form of judgment. We're judging the people by what they see or what they are wearing or what they look like. When we judge ourselves, which is even harder to accept because we are, in essence, condemning what we are. And how are we supposed to be able to accept what's coming through to us if we can't accept ourselves? That would be like trying to take a drink of water when you haven't got a glass to catch the water, at least in my mind. So if we can refrain from judgment, especially refrain from judgment of ourselves, then we open up that possibility. The ability to refrain from judgment, period, feeds our own acceptance and makes it easier for us to get our own information. We have to retrain the way we've been thinking for an entire life. Yeah, you're right. We do. Retrain, we have to accept the possibility. And I think this is a big key here. Accepting the possibility, what we have been told through our life is not always the truth, even though it's come from people that we've trusted, like our parents, our teachers, um, for the religious people, our churches, and friends, et cetera, et cetera. We have to be able to go within and trust this feed that we're getting and rethink, as you said, about the stories that we've been told about how to live, that we need to judge, that we need to feel that right and wrong or good and bad are proper. And if I can touch on that for just a moment, so many people have the idea that good and bad or right and wrong is a given. But why do we feel that way? Is it because of stories that have been passed down and these stories about the Ten Commandments? Thou shalt not do this or that, or, these are supposed to be God's laws. And from those, our civil laws have been constructed. But what if those aren't accurate? What if those 10 commandments are or have been twisted a little bit by man to be a control mechanism? And when I say a control mechanism, to create the idea of the right and wrong or good and bad. Every person on this planet, in this physical realm, is here for one purpose, and that is to have experiences. When we color those experiences by perceptions of other people as good and bad, right or wrong, then we start to devalue the experience. In essence, we are negating the reason we came here. Why be here if we aren't going to have experiences? Now, I'm talking about any experience, from having a cold to having a car accident to the what we would term horrific of rape, murder, etc. These are all experiences, and that's all they are. Learn lessons. Um, is that okay to say? Absolutely, if that's the way you feel. But here's something to think about. If you're learning lessons, does that mean that you are lacking some knowledge? Does that mean that you don't know something, so you have to learn um, a lesson about it? Is that what you're meaning by that question? As I said, I don't feel that we are lacking anything. Here in our mind, we might feel that we're lacking something. What I mean is learn from an experience, good or bad. The experience is here for a myriad of reasons. if you if you place the label of good or bad on an experience, that may be what that experience was for, so you can experience the label. But does the label need to be there? Because the reality is that in your heart, okay, here's an example. Let's say I have an experience or I desire to have an experience of taking a life. Now, of course, that's a drastic experience according to society, something that is very taboo. But this is the experience that my soul wants to have. So I step into it, and another person has agreed to be a part of that experience. They are in the experience to feel what it's like to have that from the other side, to have the life being taken. So I shoot the person and I kill that person. Do you feel or do you believe that the feelings that I have witnessed perishing from the is not enough of an awareness that we still need to put a label on it about it being right or wrong or good and bad? I can tell you personally that, and I know this because I have been in this situation. I have taken a life and I was devastated by it. I felt when it was occurring, I felt that I was doing my job, which I was. I was. I was in a war situation. I was told they were the bad guys. And yet, when I extinguished those lives, there was a cry in my heart that took many years to get over. And even now, that feeling is aware. So, do I need to judge myself as being good or bad, right or wrong? Technically, I was in the right. I was doing what I was told to do by my higher ups. It was the situation. That was what the elements were. Was it good or bad? That's a judgment. Some people's going to see it as good, some as bad. How did I feel about it? I felt pretty crappy after it was done. I judged myself for a long time until I realized that that's part of why I was here, so that I could sit here and now, especially now, have the clarity to express to you in this moment what it feels like to take that life, what it feels like to have the awareness of that experience. So I don't feel like I need to label it good or bad or right and wrong. It is what it is. I hope that answered that question. We we run to judgments because that's what we're used to, because that's what we're told we need to do. And that doesn't make it right or wrong. It doesn't make it good or bad. It doesn't mean it's necessary. It's an opinion. Now, the idea of lacking something, an awareness or our life, or not having the aha moments, I think that that is an element of not being aware. I still learn something from it. That's a way to say it. If you have to, if you, yeah, I learned something from it in the aspect that I became aware. I remembered the awareness, and that to me is what we're doing. We're not learning so much as we are remembering, reminding ourselves of the emotion, the connection, the feeling. There's an exception to any rule in this realm. You're right. You're right. But this realm, and this is where we're operating. But this whole series is about being able to reconnect with who we really are. So it's about stepping, putting your toe into the water of the spiritual realm, if you will, getting getting your feet wet again and remembering, reminding who you really are. Now that word reminding is important because if you remind, you are changing your mind. You are remembering who and what you really are. And this is vital as you awaken. A lot of people do this in the last few hours of their life, which is why, and for anyone who's been with someone when they're getting ready to pass, people, the people that are passing are more inclined to want alone time. They encourage those of us who are still alive and still, well, are still to go get some coffee or something like that. They want that. if if we can remind ourselves to slow down, to breathe, to focus, and to allow that connection to regrow, to awaken, because it truly is not any different than what we do when we go to sleep at night and we dream other realities. This is a dream of our soul, our spirit. And as we awaken, get closer to the time to awaken back to who and what we really are, the events become more and more intense and clear. Excuse me just a minute. I have to wet the whistle. I see we have somebody else on the screen. Welcome aboard. I hope that you can go back and review the entire thing. And if you have a question, please feel free to put it on the stream because I would like a dialogue. I would like to interact with everybody. Okay, but to incorporate this into my life is to give up control. It seems that way, but it's not that way. It's to give up judgments. You're still in control. You are always in control. It's just a different type of control. You still make all of the decisions that create your life. You are also responsible for all of those creations. So all you're doing is allowing your higher self to come in and assist you with those decisions and those choices that you make. So does that help at all, Karen? We're back to just you, so I'm going to speak directly to you. Okay, good. It's different. It's a different idea of how life works. And it can be scary. It can feel like you're out of control. But the reality is that you're out of your mind and you're coming back into the heart. So, yes, it can be intimidating at times, even to the point where you might want to say, I'm done with this shit. I can't do this anymore. But the reality is that you're still moving forward. You're still making that connection. You're still receiving the information. It just might seem like it's coming through a mud puddle instead of flowing freely. Yeah, it is different. It's very different. And it's okay. There's nothing wrong with different. It's, uh, it's just different. It's just different. But it can be a very peaceful different because when we accept the responsibility for what we are creating, then that lends us to understand that we have the control around it. Does that make sense? If we take the responsibility for our creations, then that means we can change whatever it is we choose to change. It's not somebody else that we depend on. It's here within ourselves. Now, I'm not talking about dealing with government agencies and things like that. I'm talking about our daily life and what happens within that daily life, within our control. We have the ability to control our sphere around us. Outside, it can be total chaos. But if you are at peace within yourself, that means in here, and you have the security to know that nothing outside of this realm or in this realm, outside of sticks and stones, the old saying, sticks and stones can hurt you, but names can never do it. Verbal assaults and all that cannot hurt you. They cannot hurt you at all unless you allow it. Of course, you can get injured physically, but you can still be at peace inside. You'll continue to listen, and maybe someday it'll sink in. Hey, anything's possible. And as I said, everything, especially this information, it's like a seed. It may not germinate and grow immediately, if not sooner, but a month or two, a year, or whatever down the road, you might have that aha moment. And all of a sudden, it's like all the all the pieces fall into the jigsaw puzzle and the picture becomes clear. That's what happened with me. Literally, it felt like I had a 20,000 piece jigsaw puzzle. And literally, in a matter of about 10 minutes, all 20,000 pieces fell into one beautiful picture of this, of who I am, of my clarity, and has brought me to where I am right now, sitting here talking to you. All right. I have rambled on for 49 minutes. Um, unless unless you have a question or other uh, comments, perhaps this would be a good place to wrap this up for now. Somebody else has just joined us, so if you've just joined and you have a question or a comment of aha moments or what they are or how they work, you know, please say so. Otherwise, I'm going to get ready to shut it down and end the stream. So, anything, anybody? I don't see anything. Bye bye.